Good morning, everybody. This is to recreate what we did in Google Meet today so you guys can review it if you need to, or for those who missed the Google Meet. All right, so we're factoring this trinomial. This is review because it is a trinomial, meaning it has three terms and there is no greatest common factor. We're going to go straight into our X puzzle. Remember, the top of our X puzzle is A, which is our first term, times C, which is our last term. So we get 18x squared. In the bottom is our B term, so that's where our negative 11 goes. So we need to know factors of 18 that add to be negative 11. So I'm going to switch over to my calculator. Get rid of the add. So now we go to the y equals, and it was 18. So we're doing 18 divided by x, and then we're going down into y2, and we're typing the same thing, 18 divided by x, and then we're putting plus x. And instead of going to just graph, we're going to the table of points. So if you see on the graph button, it has table in blue. So we're hitting second and then graph to go to our table of points. We're looking in the third column, the red column that says Y2, and we are looking for negative 11. So as you can tell, nothing here is negative. So we're going to go up. So I'm going to hit the up arrow so I can see. And if we look here, in the third column, we have negative 11 here. So our factors are negative 2 and negative 9. So we're going to go back to our notes page. Negative 2 and negative 9. And then remember, whatever's in our bottom of our x, variable-wise, is what we pull up. So we're going to give each of those an x. So now we do our box method. The first term, that 6x squared, goes first in the first box, and then our last term goes in the last box. And then the two pieces from our x puzzle go in the diagonal. Doesn't matter which order you put them in. So we have 2x, negative 2x, and negative 9x. So now we're going to be looking right here in the first row, 6x squared and negative 2x. So the only thing those two have in common, well, they have two different things. If you look at the numbers 6 and 2, we know we can divide both of those by 2. And then we can also take out an x from both. If you do not remember how to do this, you can use your calculator to get the greatest common factor using the greatest common factor feature. Again, I'll go back over to my calculator. We got to get out of this screen, so we're going to quit. We're going to do second mode to go back to our original screen. Hit the math button. We're going to arrow over to the number column, and then we're going to go down to option 9 or push 9 to get there. Remember, you can only use positive numbers here. So we said it was a 2 and a 6. So to see what the greatest common factors are there, you put them in there, 2, 6, no negatives, because it will not process negative numbers. You'll get an error if you do that. Hit enter, and it tells you 2 is the greatest common factor. So we're going to go back to our notes page. And now we're looking at our second row. Negative 9x and 3. So the greatest common factor there, if you were to go and put it in your calculator, 9 and 3, you're going to see that 3 is the greatest common factor. Since our first box is negative, this negative right here, we are going to make it a negative 3. If the first box has a negative, you take out a negative. This is the part where you have to think about that, because you can't use the feature in the calculator to show you if it's negative or positive. You have to know if the first box is negative, you take out a negative. All right, now we're going to move to our columns. We're going to be looking at our first column, that's 6x squared minus 9x. And 6 and 9, the greatest common factor there is 3. Again, you can use your calculator if you need to. And then x squared and x, our greatest common factor is an x. So 3x is what we can take out of those. And then you can check it to make sure you're doing it right if you need to. 3x times that 2x from the first row, we get 6x squared. So we know we're doing it correct. 3x times negative 3 does indeed give us negative 9x. So now let's move on to the second column. We have a negative 2x and a 3. So the only thing 2 and 3 have in common is 1. And since that first box again is negative, we're making it a negative 1. So now we have finished factoring. It is 3x minus 1, 2x minus 3. Minus 3. This is our solution. This is the factored form of that trinomial. So now let's go ahead and look at another example. We're going to be looking at 5x squared and negative 24x plus 27. So again, no greatest common factor, so we're starting with our x puzzle. Let me switch colors here. So remember, first term times our last term. So if you need to go into your calculator and multiply that out, you can. 5 times 27, we get 135, I believe, x squared. 35, yep, 135. And then in the bottom of our x puzzle, we get negative 24x. So now, factors of 135 that subtract to negative 24. Let's go back to our calculator. And we're going to go back to our y equals and clear these out. And remember, the top of our x puzzle now is 135. So 135 divided by x. 135 divided by x plus x. And then we're going to our table of points, second graph. Looking in our third column, the red column, and we're looking for negative 24. So we're going to go up a little bit ways. And right here, negative 9 and negative 15. So I'm going to go back to my notes. Negative 9 and negative 15. Remember, whatever the variable is in the bottom of the x gets moved up. So we have the two pieces from our x puzzle that we need. So we're going to draw our box. First term in our first box. Last term in the last box. And then the two pieces from our x puzzle, negative 9x and negative 15x. So 5x squared and negative 9x, the only thing those two have in common is an x, or a 1x. Then our second row, negative 15x and 27. They are both divisible by 3. So we're going to make that a negative 3 because that 15 was negative. So now we're going to do our first column, 5x squared and negative 15x. So those are both divisible by 5 and by x. So now we're going to do our second column, negative 9x and 27x. Those are both divisible by 9. And then since the 9 was negative, we're taking out a negative 9. So we have 5x minus 9 and x minus 3 is our solution. All right. Thank you, guys. You have a great day. Bye.